Number 21 on page 262 asks us to graph f of x, discuss the transformation of g, and then graph g of x. This is the first problem we're doing with our natural base e. So f of x is e to the x, and g of x is e to the negative 2x. So starting with our transformations, we have a negative sign with our x, and then we have multiplication by 2 with the x. So the negative sign gives us a reflection over the y-axis, so it's reflected over the y-axis. And then we're going to have a horizontal shrink by a factor of 2. Because we'll be dividing all our values by 2, and we'll end up with a graph that is horizontally shrunk closer to the y-axis. Okay, so we'll start by making a table for f. And the values I used in the table are negative 2, negative 1, 0, 1, and 2. And substituting those into e to the x, I get 0.14. Negative 1 gives us 37. 0 gives us 1. 1 gives us e, which is, I'm just rounding to 2.7 for graphing purposes. And e squared is about 7.4. So plotting this graph, you can see it looks very much like any of the other exponential graphs. At 1, we're at 2.7, and 2, we're at 7.4. So it has the exact same shape as our other exponential growth functions. So what you need to do to get g is then reflect that over the y-axis, which will look like a decay graph, and then we're going to horizontally shrink it. And again, like the last graphing program, to keep it nice and crisp and clear, I'm just going to show you on the graphing calculator, and you'll see again that our original f function is in blue, and that g is in red, and it is indeed shrunk into the center. It's closer to the y-axis, and it is now reflected over the y-axis as well.